Hey everyone, Happy New Year! It's Stephanie and you are tuned into the review of Married at First Sight Season 8, Episode 1. So last night's episode kicked us off in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. So I thought it was a great episode. It was really long. We have 4 couples this season, so that's exciting. This is the first time they've ever done 4 couples. So I enjoyed seeing that because I feel like that will give them more content and it'll just give us more variation of couples. You know, you get secluded to the 3 couples and it is what it is. So I enjoyed seeing, you know, Pastor Cal and Dr. Jessica kind of go back and forth with what they want and you know, Dr. Pepper was just like, listen, let's just do 4. We can kind of handle that and, you know, figure it out as we go along. So they were able to kind of get these couples. Just real quick, I always watch the matchmaking episode and I thought it was really interesting, and you kind of get a background on these people before they go into the actual season. There's this one guy who did not make it on. I forgot his name, but he was typecast as the mama's boy. God, you know, I wish he would have gotten on the show, but maybe it wasn't, or on this season, but maybe it wasn't best that he did. But the dynamic between him and the mom, like, oh my God, I know everybody was probably thinking the same thing. Like, there's a way to be appropriately close to your family without it letting it interfere with your relationships. You know, I don't know why he's single, but one of the reasons is probably his mom, because his mom is his girlfriend. They were sitting next to each other. I think she had his hand on his leg when Dr. Pepper was there, and they had a height requirement. That's crazy. You know, that's ridiculous. And the mom was so heavily involved, and he's laughing and he's thinking it's cute, but it's really not cute. It's actually one of the reasons why he's not in a relationship. And it's really important for him to take note of that, and I hope he gets to reflect on that, because that will continue to get in the way. He's saying, you know, I want another number one. My mom has been the number one, but I don't really think there's a setup for her to be a number one besides his mom. So I thought that was really important. Just really family dynamics is so important in relationships. So that was one that stuck out to me that I definitely wanted to talk about, because it just was so, he really could have gone in a different direction. And the height requirement, you need to get over yourself, especially for a woman. Like, no shade on the height requirements for men. I think that we all have room to grow. You might want a certain thing and it might come in a smaller package, but I don't think I've ever heard a man have a height requirement and his mom so forcefully say for the family she needs to be XYZ. That was crazy to me. So I don't know. Good luck. I forgot his name. I think it started with a T. Whatever. So let's jump into the couples. So we have 4 couples this season. I have notes. Usually I don't have notes. I really just have their names down, but until I get accustomed to them, I'll look down. So we have AJ and Stephanie. AJ and Stephanie were matched because, you know, they both really want a family. They both want to kind of get to the next phase in life. AJ's extremely talkative and the life of the party, as you see. Stephanie's a little more reserved, but we see throughout the episode that she's somewhat quirky. I don't know if I'm feeling this match, because I don't get the desire to be married from Stephanie from a very authentic place. I feel like it comes from it's time, you know, or this is the checklist. Check, get married, next. You know, I felt this disconnect with her and the whole idea, so much so that I was like not thinking that she would even be attracted to AJ or really into it. One of the things that was said in her background was her sister said that she didn't want to be married after the youngest sister. And we all have these dynamic things where it's like, oh, I don't, you know, if I'm from a big family, I have to be married before the youngest, you know. That is just some story that we tell ourselves, and I get it, but that was such a telltale thing for me, because I saw that, okay, this rushed need was very like, let's just get through it. You know, even when the dress wasn't fitting, like every woman who's been married understands the significance of feeling good in your dress, like right before you walk down the aisle. Like, it has to be perfect. It really does. If something is wrong, we will fix it. and something was going on with her dress, and she was like, let's just hurry up, let's just get this over with. And I was like, wow, you know, that's not what you do at that moment. At that moment, you pretty much make sure that everything's perfect, especially with your dress, because it impacts how you feel, it impacts the rest of the night. You don't want to be focused on that when you're meeting your spouse at the altar, especially for the first time. So there's something that just doesn't work for me with her, and I was surprised to see her welcome AJ and be attracted to AJ. I don't know if I even believe that, because I just don't get the authenticity from her. I think that she really wanted it because it's time, let's go, we have stuff to do. She seems very businessy. Even with her at the bachelorette party, I get it, strippers aren't everybody's thing. I totally get it. But even then, it wasn't like having a good time. It was like, okay, next, I want to be married. By the way, they had joint bachelor and bachelorette parties this season. I didn't like that. I felt like this is their last few moments. They should have had their separate things with their friends who know them, so that the experience could have been catered to everyone. Like Stephanie, she didn't want the strippers. She should have had an experience that was catered to the type of person that she is. Everyone should have had an experience. Luke, the other guy, he didn't like the strippers either. So he shouldn't have been on a party bus where it's a bunch of strippers kind of jumping around. So I wasn't really feeling that, but you know, we'll see. So AJ and Stephanie meet at the altar. AJ is really happy-go-lucky. He seems to come from a great family. He's very chatty. You know, that was one of the concerns that the expert had, that he is really chatty. So is this really going to work out? It might be overwhelming. But he greets her mom, the family member. He's really funny, actually. He seems to have a good spirit. I don't necessarily know if this is a good match. I don't get any chemistry from them. I get that they could be good friends. You start to see towards the end of the episode, when after they get married, that they have like a quirky personality together. So it might work out in that way, but I don't really get the love match from them. So we'll see how that goes. AJ and Stephanie did kiss at the altar though. So that was, you know, that was interesting to see, because they appeared to have good chemistry in terms of their actions, but I'm just not feeling it overall. So we'll see how it goes. I'm interested to see their dynamic, and you know, after all these things, it's hard to really tell in the first episode and when they get matched, because all of it is new. All of it is adrenaline, and it's excitement, and it's just really, you know, happy, and it's just not always realistic of who they are, and we only know so much. So we'll see, but I'm a little on the fence about this match. So that is AJ and Stephanie. So next we have Kristine and Keith. So Kristine is 28. She refers to herself as Queen Kristine, and she is a realtor. Family is super supportive. She comes from a close-knit family, and she marries Keith. So Keith lives with his grandmother. He is in school to be a nurse, eventually wants to go to med school. He comes from a close family as well, raised by a bunch of women, so he has a very close relationship with women. Excuse me. Usually that translates to him probably knowing the best way to kind of treat a woman and being a little more emotional, a little more sensitive. You know, we'll see. So my concern with this match is Kristine a little bit. There's an immaturity there for me. You know, there's an aspect of her that just seems very surface. It seems very bratty. I don't know why that is, but I'm just giving my, you know, authentic thoughts with this. Like, there's just something about her that rubs me a little bit the wrong way. And she says that she wants a man to make more money than her, which is fine. Everybody has their, you know, wants, and they can say that. He is living with his grandmother. He is in school. He may not make as much money than her. And so when the experts were talking about matching them up, one of them had said, you know, I hope that their relationship supports the foundation of maybe her having to make more money or having more than he does, and them gelling together. I feel like that's a lot for a new couple, because that's a lot for any couple, but someone who you have not built a foundation with, that's really difficult if you're coming out of the gate saying, this is what I want. He needs to make more money. He needs to do X, Y, Z. And I just get a very bratty nature from her. I hope that, you know, as the season goes on, we see more and we see like a depth and a sensitivity and just more to her, and maybe an aspect of her that gels with him and appreciates him, and we get to see his dynamic with her. But I just felt like, oh, this doesn't look like it'll go so well. Like, I wasn't really sure the reason to connect them in marriage. I don't know, something about it is off. I mean, let me know what you think, but for some reason, yeah, they're aesthetically pleasing together, but I didn't really get the maturity that I was looking for in terms of them being matched and why it really made sense. So, you know, we'll see. Keith seems like a down-to-earth guy, seems kind of calm, relaxed. She's a little more hyper, and so they might help each other in that way. You know, she might help bring him out, and he might, you know, anchor her a little bit. But I hope that we see more than the surface, because I don't necessarily know that, I don't know. I mean, we don't have all the information of why they were matched, but based on just seeing them and seeing the episode, I don't know how strong of a connection that will be. So that is Keith and Kristen. So next we have Kate and Luke. So Kate, I forget, oh, they're from Philly, of course, but her parents were married for about 30 years and they got a divorce last year. So she has really been struggling with that. You know, I'm sure that it came from a place of surprise on her end, just being the daughter and assuming that 30 years in your parents would be together. And also what was sad for her was that she hasn't spoken to her father since the divorce. So her father didn't walk her down the aisle, her brother did. And her mother's brother walked her mother down the aisle too. So they had a sweet moment before she got married where they connected with that, knowing that, you know, there's some pain there and it's a fresh situation that's happened. She seems very optimistic though. She's determined not to let that really impact her life in a negative way. And so she is super sweet. She seems very down to earth, kind of just looking for love and looking for her good match. She is matched with Luke. So Luke, they give the typecast as like a hustler because he does different things, but he's also a civil engineer. So I don't even know why they gave him that. Like, they didn't really say that in the matchmaking episode, but you know, the second part of the wedding episode, he was like, you know, they call me the hustler, my friends call me this, but I'm a civil engineer. I was like, lead with that. Even if he hustled and he did really well, I just think that like there's more to him than originally what we had seen. So he is a little tight, I will say. Luke has his buttons all the way buttoned to the top. He's a little tight. He's a little reserved. You know, he's a complete opposite of AJ. So AJ really rubs him the wrong way. At first, I thought it was just like sarcastic, funny. But I think that Luke can be, I don't know, a little judgmental. Sitting on the bus with the strippers, he didn't really like it. And you could tell he was kind of getting upset. He was not really comfortable. And I think that if he's not in a space where he is comfortable, he probably shuts down or he becomes very like negative or projects negativity if he doesn't like it or if it's the opposite of him. I get this like judgy jerk vibe from him. He may not be, but the first couple of moments of him was kind of funny, and then towards the end it was just like, okay, loosen up, like relax, like find a healthier way to kind of express how you're feeling. But other than that, I think they were a good match. I think, you know, they will be good together in a way that they can kind of be the calm couple. They can kind of get to know each other slowly. She can dive into him. He seems that he's very much an anchor, which will be good. They can have really quality conversation and go from there. They kind of are on the same page with wanting the same things. He, interestingly enough, runs a like a dating thing where they like meet up, like date meetups or something. And so at the end of the episode, when the doors open and you see Kate, he says to his friends, I know her, or I've seen that girl. So that was a great cliffhanger because I was like, okay, what next? What's gonna happen? I hope that it ends up being a good thing that he sees her and that they have like a good connection. So that's Kate and Luke. I think they're very even keel. There's nothing that really stuck out to me that was like weird or anything super concerning, except just, Luke probably will need to loosen up a little bit. So that's Kate and Luke. Last but not least, there is Jasmine and Will. So Jasmine and Will to me are, I don't want to say my fave couple, but the couple that I didn't really have questions about. They seem very equally yoked. They want similar things. Jasmine is baby. She's kind of coming out like, I forgot her name, Amber in season 7, where it's like, that is the thing. I really want that. So I believe he wants a family as well. So, they're equally yoked in that way. They find out that they both went to the same, historically Black university. So that's very cool. The thing with Jasmine's family is they were not on board. And I don't think they still are on board. I think they have to support her because they love her. But it's, as we've all talked about before, this experiment is very non-traditional and it's very scary for most people. And most people would never do it. So they are in that lane of like not wanting to do that and not wanting to see her do that. And it's really difficult. I definitely got pulled in when the dad was getting emotional because, he's giving his daughter to this man and he doesn't know this man. So it was really tough for him, like any dad, and he let that be known, and she didn't think that they would show up. I knew they would show up, but it was just really hard dynamic. She wasn't really sure, but hey, she's putting herself out there for love, and she wants to make sure that she does what she can. But they seem to be the most even keel. I don't know. It's like I get this feeling of like I've known them before. I've seen them before. They have like really good energy together, very complimentary. She's kind of funny. He's very guarded, and he seemed to relax a little bit with her joking ways and her being talkative. Dr. Jessica was concerned that because he's so guarded, it would be a lot of work for her to bring him out of his shell and have to do all that foundation work just to get him to just a place of being basic. He recognizes that he's guarded as well. So I hope that he makes the effort to step outside of his shell, because what I don't want to see here is, and I'm not saying that he is, because he's nothing like so far. I don't want to see another Jeff D where he's so guarded and this is who I am and this is what it is and this is an experiment and I just met you, that he's not getting out of his shell and he's using that as a crutch to justify why he is the way he is. Because I don't think that would be beneficial for the experiment or the process or the journey. If you do this, you have to get over yourself. You have to push yourself more, and you can't rely on, oh, well, this is how I am, I'm guarded. Okay, well, you shouldn't have done this. So I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just hoping that's not going to happen. I'm hoping that because of her relaxed nature and her nature to be a little more out there and fun and joking, that he picks up on that and that relaxes him to where he can let his guard down. But I think they are a great match. I feel like they're the best match of the bunch. I feel like they can have some great longevity. Who knows though? This is episode 1. I'm just like going based off of what I'm seeing, but I think that it was a great match. For sure, they're like my gold star couple of this season. So that's it. Let me know what you thought. This looks like it'll be definitely an interesting season with a lot of content. Let me know what you thought. Don't forget to subscribe. And as always, I will see you guys next week. Everyone have a great week.